he's from Spain, our friend here at the festival. In Kurds, you have the plain nowhere, just this house and nothing. And in your film, you also have like the Dali nowhere. Can you talk about like what
Life in transition?
Life in transition.
Yeah.
You have like this fascination with emptiness or nothingness. Or
Yeah. I think about James Joyce's The Wasteland, where it's barren, it's desolate, it's a metaphor. Nothing can grow. There's no more soul, right? No zeal for living. So it's just a dead piece of space. That's what I recall.
And is it like, do you feel like it's the horror of it? Like you chose this specific thing for
it's horror potential.
It's horror potential.
Yeah, it's always the potential.
Escape. You can never call for help. There's no one.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, it's in the middle of nowhere. No one can hear you scream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like space.
But you can't even scream in space because you're in a helmet.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Because you're in a spacesuit right now.
Well, I've told this story so often, but it's become a piece of history. I wore this spacesuit when I pitched Courage to the networks in California, in Hollywood. And I wore it all week in California, in LA, and nobody said anything. It was the most normal thing anybody could wear, and with the propeller and everything. Yeah, so I had a little thing, I do a little thing at festivals where I juggle and I recite the premise of the show, like a pitch.
Yeah.
And I have two audience members playing the executives and it's really a lot of fun.
Can we do that?
I don't have anything to juggle. I need like oranges or tennis balls.
So we have prunes.
You have prunes? That's just
Can you get that, Bruna?
Yeah.
I think it's so much fun.
What is it?
Like,
Where are you going to juggle?
We have apples, like 2 or 3 apples.
You have apples? Oh my God, if they fall, there's going to be a mess.
It's beautiful.
Oh, well, we're waiting for this inevitability.
Yeah, but I think everybody here would be really interested in finding out how you pitch, how you sell your ideas, because I imagine it's a little bit tricky to pitch, but you had like the short before, right? You could show that.
Oh yeah, we produced the Chicken from Outer Space.
Yeah.
Wow, all right. Okay, so let's try it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Since you are already sitting down, you're going to play the executive.
Okay.
Right?
Do you want someone else? Diego, can you come? Be the other executive.
No. There's not two executives.
Oh, okay.
There's your assistant.
Yeah.
You just need a volunteer who's going to be an assistant. Who wants to play the assistant?
Diego is here.
Do you want to play? You want to play the assistant?
Oh
my God. Do you want to play the assistant?
Sure.
Yes. Okay, so you're sitting here. You just sit there. This is copyrighted material. You pay me royalties. Okay, I'm coming. I'm opening the door, of course. Hello, I'm John Dilworth. I'm here to see Mr. Arnar.
Go right in.
Oh
no,
it's never done that way. You have to call him and ask him if he's available to see me. Okay, so we'll do it again. Coming into the office. Hello, I'm John Dilworth. I'm here to see Mr. Arnar.
Mr. Arnar,
Yes.
just a moment.
Yes.
Mr. Arnar, I have John Dilworth here to see you.
Great. I really loved his short film. I heard he's a weird guy, but glad you met him.
Okay, so that never happens that way?
Oh.
You always have me waiting, like, for some excuse?
Oh.
Right? Okay, so we're going to do it again. Okay, here I am. I'm opening the door, walking in. Hello, I'm John Dilworth. I'm here to see Mr. Arnar.
One moment. Mr. Arnar, I have John Dilworth here to see you.
I am busy doing executive stuff. Can you give excuse and let him wait a little bit.
Yes.
He'll be with you
In a few minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Just take a seat.
Where would I take it? Where do you want me to take it?
Just take a seat over there.
Take it and put it where?
Underneath your...
My ass. What kind of network is this? Ask Mr. Arnar if he's ready now, because I haven't got a lot of time.
Okay. Mr. Arnar, are you ready for it?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Dilworth?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Hello, Mr. Arnar. I'm John Dilworth. I would like to pitch you my new cartoon show. Yes? Okay. It's the show's name is Courage the Cowardly Dog. Wait, and it's about a cowardly dog. I told you what's going to happen. Hold on. I can't see. There's no light. The things are black. Anyway, I juggle and I pitch the thing, and that's that. I can't see anything. But you get the idea. I mean, it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
If I can pull it off. Yeah.
So it's like.
But they're black. I mean, I can't see them. Sorry.
So you use it to get into like a flow or a song?
Yeah, I just have to juggle the damn things, but they should be yellow or white or something. Sorry. But anyway, continue. That was great, by the way. And this is the thing, I always harass everybody who volunteers. I just make it up.
Yeah.
And the participants, they get flustered, and there's more laughs. It's an old
Yeah, it's a good
thing.
trick.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I was watching it now, I was thinking about teeth.
Yeah.
You have a lot of different kind of teeth.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with teeth.
Yeah, I do.
Or gums. Yeah.
Even the logo, even the Stretch Films logo has distorted teeth. Yeah, I think it's just imperfection. It's the embracing of imperfection. It's so deliberate.
Yeah.
I mean, the obviousness of it, that perhaps it's overlooked, or even inspires a kind of repulsion, which is, I think, a kind of flattery. It's a warning for anybody who's going to watch this thing, right? In advance, you know what you may be getting into. But the hole in the tooth of courage, that's a spiritual deficiency. This hole is
Spiritual deficiency.
Yeah.
Can you explain?
Well, it has to do with his quality of, state of mind. That, these terrible things that are happening, he conjures up, he creates it.
Yeah. Because I think like in dreams, I think many of us have dreamt of like losing teeth and like nightmares about teeth. So I think like teeth are such like a nice choice for you to focus on because it's such a horrific thing for us.
I never thought about looking into the meaning, metaphor, dream, symbolism of teeth.
Okay.
It's the first time I even thought about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, interesting.
So like, so do you feel like the choices you make are just you in the subconscious doing something, or how deliberate is it? Like.
Well, I mean, you're in TV production. It's deliberate.
Yeah.
Yeah. The art is something else, like The Chicken from Outer Space, a short film that was also constructed, but I allow for things to appear, however way creativity works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like to focus. I just like to talk about creativity.
Sure, love to. Yeah.
Because it's something I aspire to, and I think many people here are creatives. So like your process, like can you talk a little bit about that?
The process question again.
Yeah.
Well, what process at what stage really? At what stage of production?
Just the earliest, just the first inclination. I know it's the worst question. Where do you get your ideas from? But it's not that. It's just like the development of it.
It all begins with a premise for a show, and every episode runs about 11 minutes. So the premise would have to be something that has the initial challenge, right? suggested conclusion. And I would write the majority of those, the premises. And I would look for the things and themes that interest me, and they would mostly come out of mythologies, right? And they would come out of dreamscape, the dream universe. And they would come out of our morals, what we agree, the way we live, right? And that comes out all the time in courage. Folk tales. So it was broad, the references. And then that premise would get sent to the network, and they would approve it. Or if they had comments, they would send the comments, and I would rewrite. Okay. But let's say that it's an approved premise. Then the premise would go to our writer's room, which consisted of professional writers and humorists, people who were just plain funny. They weren't writing. A writer was considered someone who was typing, right? That kind of thing. And we had a head writer, David Cohen, who was very, very good. He worked extremely well for us in the style that we developed. And my writer's room was modeled after the old Looney Tunes from Warner Brothers, where there was a bunch of gag people in a room, and they would take their premise and they'd just go bananas, right? Because we knew the beginning, we knew the middle, and we knew how to end, right? So what happens in between, right, is the magic. Yeah. And so once we get through that stage, that's called treatment. And then that treatment, after I read it and edit it, goes to the network for approval. And then the same process happens again. Network opinion, comments, notes, changes, and then we go to script. And the script is the same process as the treatment. We just develop it. Now we add dialogue, characterization, and things get a little bit more tight. And David Cohen would produce a draft. I would read it, edit, and I worked with paper at the time. I mean, you're talking about the early aughts, right, or whatever. And what I liked about paper is I could design for the design department images and layouts and points of view that I wanted to see coming from their department. So during the script stage, I would be doing the design stage, right? And then I would turn that in. And if the network approved that, we'd immediately go to casting and storyboard. So we'd have these two departments running it after script. Now you have to keep in mind that you're doing, so every season you're doing, how many did we do this season? 13 half hours? So you have 26 11-minute episodes staggered. So you're working on maybe during 1 week, somewhere along this line, you're working on 6 or 7 shows at the same time. Yeah. Right? I mean, just from writing to post, right, to mix, I mean, and everything in between. So that's a process, I presume.
That's interesting, because in Iceland we don't have this history of writers' rooms. It's just people alone somewhere writing, and don't have this like room of funny people, which I think we Icelanders should try to emulate.
Yeah, and what's so great about the writers' room as a process is we would invite guest writers to come join us, right? And they would bring their unique personality to a story that we all worked on together. And so we would have this opportunity as well, not just our set writers, but guest writers as well, just to see what comes up. Yeah.
But you talk about the head writer, the typist.
Yeah.
But the funny people, are they just sitting in a room smoking cigarettes, making each other laugh?
Not smoking cigarettes, though.
That was my fantasy.
Yeah, but making each other laugh. Yeah.
It sounds like a wonderful job.
Yeah, and my sole job was to keep things in the right direction. So it didn't get absurd and off focus.
It's so funny. You're
Yeah.
in this spacesuit saying, you don't want to keep things too absurd.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about dualism, the dualism of absurdity and responsibility. I mean, it's that one and the other don't really work together.
Yeah.
Because when you need to be responsible, you're not being absurd, right? And the release of responsibility is absurd.
Yeah. So do you feel like you like both these roles?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also not 30 years old anymore.
Yeah.
You know.
So you were never in the writer's room just, I want to just laugh with the other people. You
Oh, I'm just doing the most laughing. I'm saying the most stupid things. But I also rely on everybody else to tell me or challenge me if what works, right? And we had some really hot creative minds. Even my kid sister, Michelle, she worked on all the seasons. And she's a very funny woman. And I also wanted a woman on I had several women writing, because I needed the balance. We also had Muriel, right?
Yeah.
She's the only woman in the show, really.
She's the motherly,
Yeah.
he's like always trying to save her. Good.
Yeah.
She's like the only thing that's good in this universe. Really.
And you remind yourself also that Eustace was never in peril.
Yeah.
It was always the loved object. Courage didn't like Eustace. And
Yeah.
of course, why would he?
Yeah.
The dog was, Eustace resented the dog. And this is a tangent, but I would hear from fans over, of course, 2 decades about how, unfortunately, families are not so kind to one another. Right. And the TV show, according to them, acted as a way to assimilate. Right?
Yeah.
It was a kind of therapeutic show.
Yeah.
In a very trivial way. I mean, it's just a cartoon, pop culture.
Yeah.
But the writer's room is a fun room to have because we're laughing so long. It's just great. Yeah, to laugh. Termite Terrace. Look them up. Warner Brothers. That's how they wrote their cartoons. All the Bugs Bunnies, Daffy Ducks, all of that.
Yeah.
They did it together.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't read about that, but I read about many writers' rooms because I'm obsessed with writers' room. That's my fantasy.
Without and you're not a writer. Without a good writer, it doesn't matter what the show looks like.
Yeah. But like I was imagining how the script is, like it was so funny watching this. So much screaming.
Well, I have to apologize for that. I am so sorry. Even I was cringing. I mean, there's just too much screaming. But also, to be fair, the audio in this fine auditorium is a little bit hot.
Yeah.
Right, so everything is like you're being assaulted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're really seeing it on broadcast, it's so much of a better mixed.
Yeah.
Right, you're getting it with the balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not so hot.
But
it is a lot of screaming. I mean, it's screaming and screaming, too much screaming.
I like the screaming.
Yeah, it was fun
So-
screaming. It was screaming. That's Marty Grabstein was the voice of courage, and I hired him for the screaming. It was really difficult casting courage.
Yeah.
I wanted to cast everyone in New York because we were in New York, and we had all these great actors who could deliver wonderful performances, but couldn't scream. And we had Marty, whose eyebrows tilted in the way courage was designed, and he could scream. And we were running out of time. We had to go into production, and so we got the post. And the thing about Marty's screaming is we could reuse the best of the screams from season 1 all through season 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the same screams.
Well, not the same, because every episode we recorded everything fresh.
Yeah.
But we ended up using some of the original screams from season 1.
Yeah, okay.
And then that last one where Courage is screaming and he brings down the whole house, I think it's like 1 minute long. I mean, no one can scream for a minute, you know. Right? But we engineered that, so the scream is...
I was thinking about like how you direct someone screaming. It's like, oh, because the screaming is comical, but scary at the same time, like the show.
The thing is, that's just Marty. I mean, I don't know if he could give you one scream or another scream with variety. I mean, it's just Marty's scream, and we used that for Courage.
Yeah.
But our voice director was Peter Fernandez. I don't know if you ever, you're familiar with a TV show called Speed Racer.
Yeah.
It came out of Japan.
Yeah, I've seen
Well, Peter Fernandez was the voice of Speed Racer in America, right? But I don't know who did it in Iceland.
It was not children in Iceland, it's just because
Oh.
I'm a nerd, what's funny.
Oh, you were a nerd. Okay, well done, thank you. Yeah, so we had a great, we're just surrounded by amazing New York talent. I mean, we would cast Broadway actors who were they were on break from performing, just come in for an hour and do us a voice. You know, it was just wonderful, wonderful.
Okay.
And we had a great recording team. Reese Newworth was the casting agent for Stretch, and Don Case was the casting director, and we had Peter Fernandez. It was just wonderful.
So
Yeah.
just think of it fondly this time, even though it's a lot of work and like 6 episodes. But it sounds like I'm trying to write one short film in a month. So
Yeah, I was when I was watching it in the back there, I was like, I don't want to do this again. You know, it just looked so impossible, and yet it got done. And these things do get done. Yeah.
Because it's like the premise is like Courage is there, he's protecting it, the show's a villain, but you do so much with this. Just watching like so many creative things, weird aspects you could like delve into.
I have to acknowledge William Hohauser, who he is my editor for 40 years, but he's also in himself a kind of master of stupidity. And when he and I are together, it's like any other chemistry, native chemistry. We have the very best time. And he just conjures up ridiculousness. And then that inspires me to be even further ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right? And then suddenly you have, I don't even know how we wrote that. I mean, really, it's a different thing when you're in the room than after you see it produced.
So in the room, it makes sense and stuff.
Oh, none of it makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. But one thing we always kept track of is the logic. Yeah. Even if the logic was absurd, it had to be consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't random, just sticking things in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one thing that I was diligent about.
Did you have like a Bible, like a TV
Yeah,
show?
the network demands you have a Bible. I wrote a Bible and it's like, whatever.
Ah, okay.
But we invented it as we went along.
Yeah.
Right? It's a living thing. You know, you're going 4 years. I wasn't certainly going to stick to a Bible.
Yeah.
Except for the fundamentals of the show, right? Which don't change.
Yeah.
There's a threat, Courage
Yeah.
comes, call to action,
Yeah.
he acts,
Yeah.
and he resolves it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Simple.
Yeah.
But at the time it wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. When the Chicken from Outer Space did so well, and it's a few years before I pitched it again, but I explained that yesterday. I was really having panic about the idea of taking this short, 7-minute short, and then making it into 104 11-minute cartoons. It needed such a strong, repeatable formula. It was a formula that we created.
Yeah.
Created.
Yeah. I'd here too.
And really what I did is I spent hours just analyzing the original independent film until the formula came up. And then it proved correct by the 104 episodes.
So you need to analyze yourself.
Well, I don't know about that. It was already, the film succeeded. It was there. So the material is in front of me. It's up to me to find the formula from that I could make the rest of it. And in TV and even live action, streaming shows, there's a formula. Or variations of familiar formulas. And they, you know, I mean, these Hollywood writers, they could put things together. You know, take pieces of one formula, add it to another, and then.
So like many writers talk about like, oh, there's no formula, there's no correct, you can't like put a formula on to, people are afraid of formulas because they say it's, oh, you're doing something cliche and something, but you find freedom in having a solid formula.
The thing about a formula is to make it so it doesn't feel like a formula, it's craft. Right.
Yeah, that's what I try to talk about by saying.
And that's the hardest thing to create. Because if you could create formulas for TV shows, let's say, sequential things, you could do that successfully, you'll be a very busy producer.
And you did it successfully.
Yeah, but I did it once.
And now you're going to do it again, or?
No, I don't think so.
So I have some notes. There is, like when I was a kid and watching it, I was so mad at Eustace for being so evil to the dog. And I was like, I really hated that guy. Can you talk about him as a character and how you evolved him?
The original short, as you would know, is just pieces of the entire universe that I'm familiar with. So I'm taking pieces of myself, I'm taking pieces of other things, and we're making Frankensteins. Right?
Yeah.
Do I want to claim that Eustace is really me? Like the bully in me? Probably.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Because also in the show, you use pictures of yourself.
Yeah, always. That's what Hitchcock did. That's what Truffaut did. That's what Scorsese does. They all do this. They appear. They do little cameos in their movies. So I just did the same thing in my TV show.
Do you find it funny to see yourself in this? Because
Only if I'm goofy.
Yeah.
Only if it's goofy.
Because when I was a kid, I didn't realize it was you, the creator. I just thought it was some guy.
Yeah, some stupid guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that our time has come to an end.
Yeah.
According to your handlers.
Yeah.
And I just want to thank you so much for this conversation, Arnar,
Yeah.
and the Northern Lights fantastic film festival here in Iceland for this one honoring all the work that we've done. You hear the bells?
Yeah.
It's time to eat dinner.
Yeah. So thank you all for coming. Give a round of applause to Dilworth.
Oh yeah.